this episode, we're going to be looking at Omarchy, and it is a distribution for Linux based on Arch, and it's one that I've come to like, even though my primary development machine is still Mac. I do have it installed on my laptop, and that laptop is the one that I mostly travel with. So because it is based on Arch, if you are coming from something that's Debian based, like Debian or Ubuntu, then it can be a bit of a culture shock. However, with all of the .dot files that's included in this distribution, I think that it has made it where you can still be productive without knowing a lot of the intricate commands that you may already be familiar with something like Ubuntu. For example, with aptitude for updating packages, you have pacman, but the user interface or menu system that Omarchy has makes it a lot easier to work with. So in this episode, we're going to look at, on a fresh, clean laptop, installing this and getting it up and running. So to get started on omarchy.org, we're going to download the ISO. Version 3 has been released, which means that it is an offline installer. So it does not require the internet. So in faster systems, it can be a really quick install. It also means that the ISO size is much larger, so that could take a bit longer to download. Once downloaded, we can use Etcher to flash the ISO to a USB drive. You do want to make sure that there's nothing on that drive that you want to keep, because this will delete everything on there. It could take a few minutes depending on the speed of your drive. And while that's going, I think it's important to say that if you were just trying this out, and if you're not sure it's something that you want to commit to, if your laptop or desktop has removable storage for the primary drive, then I would recommend using another one that you have lying around and installing that to install Omarchy on. The reason being is that if you ever want to revert back to your other system, it'll be much easier to just swap the drives again. Otherwise, you want to make sure that you do have a good backup of all your files before you do proceed, because this will delete everything on the drive. And another thing that I'll say that I really like about this distribution is that it's really simple to use. Once you become familiar with all the keystrokes, it's a much more pleasant experience, especially from a developer perspective, because it's easy to just get up and going with this, copying over my other .dot files from my previous installation and all of my project directories. Then I'm pretty much ready to go. There are some opinionated things about it that I don't really care for, but a lot of this is configurable because it is still based on Arch. Once it's done, you can boot up your computer with the new drive installed, and you'll need to hit a hotkey that will take you into the boot menu. Within this boot menu, you would want to select your USB drive. On some computers, it could be F8, F10, F11, F12, or the delete key or the escape key. It's all going to depend on your manufacturer. But we'll go ahead and boot from our thumb drive. We'll be greeted with a nice splash screen, and from there, we can then select our keyboard layout. I'll select the English, I'll give it a username, and then also a password. You want to make sure that this is a secure password because it will be used for the encryption as well. Once we confirm it, we can then give a name, and then we can enter in our email address, and then we can give a name to the machine. We'll select our time zone. We can start typing to filter out our selection, and once we do that, we can then confirm that it looks right. We'll have to select which drive we want to use, and you want to be careful because whichever drive you selected will erase everything off of it. So in my case, I'm going to use the internal drive. We'll confirm that we're going to format the disk, and then it's going to go through the process of installing Omarchy. Because this computer is not connected to the internet, either through Ethernet or Wi-Fi, this is the perfect situation where it's a complete offline installer. So again, depending on your machine, this could take a while, but I found for the most part, it's a really quick experience. Definitely much faster than trying to do a Windows or a Mac OS install. And again, for our development environments, I think that we should pick whichever environment is going to give us the most productivity. Sometimes that answer might be Windows, depending on your situation and the software required for you to do your job appropriately. It could be Mac OS, or it could be some flavor of Linux. In my case, I still use a Mac primarily because all my screen recording software is built for Mac OS. But as far as my actual development work, it really doesn't matter if I use Windows, Mac, or Linux. So in a lot of cases, I do use Linux for the development of my personal projects. But again, there is no right or wrong answer. It's all just going to depend on whatever you are most productive with and what you're most comfortable with as well. But as far as Linux distributions go, I've never been a big fan of Arch, and it wasn't until Omarchy that I've actually kind of liked it. In a lot of cases, I want to just install an OS and then get productive. And with Arch, that's just not something that you're going to be able to do, unless if you have something wrapped around Arch like Omarchy. But as we can see that it has finished the install, so we can go ahead and remove our thumb drive and reboot now. And once the computer reboots, we're going to be presented with a lock screen that we have to type in that password that we set up during the installation. This will decrypt the drive so that we're then able to boot up the OS and we can then get productive. So I am going to click to set up my Wi-Fi, which its state is currently disconnected. So I'm going to tab down and select my Wi-Fi, and then I can put in my key. Once I do that, it's now connected, and now we can update the system. It again will ask me for my sudo password, which I'll enter, and then it's going to download and install all of the updates that have been released since the creation of the ISO. And once that's done, it'll ask us to reboot again, but once it reboots, we won't have to worry about reconnecting the Wi-Fi because those changes would have persisted. Once the computer reboots, we again will have to put in our password, and you'll have to do that every time you reboot the computer. But once you do, you will then be greeted back at the desktop. On the top left, we can access the Omarchy menu, or you can press the Super Alt space, and the Super key is simply the Windows key, and from there, we can update our system, shut down, we can install other packages, or we can look at all of the apps. And again, this is an opinionated setup, and so a lot of things have already been assumed. And you can leave these here and install your own, or you can remove them if you like. So I'm going to go down to install some other packages, which if we know our package that we want to install, we could go up to the package, which will use the Pacman service, or we can come down to editor, and for the editor, I want to use VS Code because I do like VS Code over Vim, and so that's the editor I'm going to use. And one thing I really like about Omarchy is the tiling manager. So if I want to access our terminal outside of VS Code, I can simply use the Windows key or Super and then hit enter. And the tiling manager will then split the window so I get both my editor and the terminal. If I don't like the positions of these, if I want my editor to be over on the right, I can hit the Super Shift and then my left or right arrow key, and it'll just swap them. Because there are so many shortcut keys, you may want to come to the Learn and check out the key bindings because they're all listed here. For example, Super A will launch ChatGPT, Super B will launch your browser, Super 1, 2, 3, 4 will switch to the different workspaces, which is extremely helpful if you want to maximize your real estate and you need to focus on one thing. And there's so many more, so definitely check those out. Because in many ways, becoming familiar with these are going to make it much easier to adopt this distribution. And if we go into our local folder, we can list out, we'll go into the share, and then if we go into our applications, and if we list out here, you'll see that a lot of the applications that you may want to remove are in here. So for example, if I'm not going to use the Basecamp app, I can just do an rm basecamp.desktop, and that'll remove that package. Or maybe I don't want to use WhatsApp, so I can remove that as well. And so by doing that, when we then go to the apps, you'll see that they're removed from here and no longer present. You can always create your own if you want to cut out what one of these would look like. It's simply a text file that launches a web app. And so you can create and modify your own to tailor it to your needs. But let's say now we want to go ahead and get up and running with our development environment. I'm going to do a mice -- version, and you'll see that we have mice available to us right out of the box. And so that's awesome. If we do a mice list, you'll see that we don't have any tools installed yet, but we can do a mice list - all Ruby to see all of the available versions. And then we can do a mice use - g for global Ruby at 3.4.6. And then that's going to install Ruby, just as we would expect. There is a GUI for that under the super menu, but I'm familiar enough with the command line where I'm just going to use the myCLI. But once Ruby is done installing, we can do a gem install Rails, and then we can do a Rails new example to create a new Rails application. And that's all you have to do to get up and running. We can go into that example application, run the bin dev to start up our Rails application. We can hit the super B to launch our browser, and then go to our local host, port 3000, and we can then access our website. So getting up and running with Omarchy is extremely easy. And one thing I like about this is that we don't need a fast computer. This computer is decently fast. It is a couple of years old, but it is a 155H, which could be had for as little as $500, depending on your area and any sales going on. But what I like about this is that we don't have to have a high-end machine to run this. You could even install this on an older machine. While it won't be as fast, it is still running the baseline Arch, which is a very lightweight operating system to begin with. So it can revive an old computer and bring some very usable life back to it. Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. For more videos, check out driftandruby.com.